Hello everyone, welcome to Science Lab. The signs are happening because Lord Jesus Christ is coming soon. Every day we are looking at some of the signs that are happening around us. Today we are going to look at some of the end time signs that are happening in Europe. German laser and hypersonic weapons soon to be reality. Germany is quietly racing for the next generation of weapons. Its advantage lies in its secrecy.
In December 2018, Russia shocked the world with a successful test of its Vanguard hypersonic missile system, while the United States, Russia and China are racing for new weapon technologies. Germany is racing too, but more quietly. It is that secrecy along the Germany's history that should greatly alarm the world.
On June 7, 2019, the German newspaper Die Welt reported that the German military is developing hypersonic weapons that hit the target at 5 times the speed of the sound. The German Federal Armed Forces Procurement Agency started the project last year. As sales manager Peter Helmer of the German defense company MBDA announced, MBDA is Europe's leader in developing missile systems.
Helmer said that developing hypersonic weapons is necessary due to threats of the concrete kind keyword Putin's missile or even the new Russian tank. The simple principle is to develop missiles that are so fast that the predictive systems of the Russian tank becomes too slow.
The first test firings of the missiles are estimated to take place within the next 3 years. In the meantime, Hellmeyer sees the possibility of integrating hypersonic missiles into air defense systems and possibly creating a European hypersonic interception missile. There aren't many details available on the secret project, but it is run on the for German eyes only principle.
Die Welt reported that in its hypersonic plans, the German subsidiary of European MBDA Group can fall back on the wealth of experience of its subsidiary Bayern Chemie. As early as 2003, the expert for guided missile propulsion had a record flight at 7 times the speed of sound on ground level.
MBDA Germany and Rheinmetall have worked for years on the development of laser weapons. In February of 2019, Rheinmetall successfully tested a new laser weapon station. MBDA Germany and Rheinmetall are now also developing laser cannons for the German military. The first high-energy laser will be installed next year on a German warship. In cooperation with France, Germany is already leading the race in developing the next generation of tanks and a future combat air system.
Hellmeyer claims that the technologies are being studied for purely defensive purposes, but Germany's history means that we should pay attention when it develops advanced weapons. After World War I, people paid little attention to German weapons development, but one man in Britain sounded the alarm about Germany's deceptive tactics and advancements in developing military technology.
Concerning Germany's growing air power, Winston Churchill said in a speech that so far I've dealt with what I believe is the known, but beyond the known there is also the unknown. We hear from all sides of an air development in Germany far in excess of anything which I have stated today. As to that, all I would say is beware, Germany is a country fertile in military surprises.
What Churchill didn't know was that Germany's rise to power was prophesied in the Bible. Revelation chapter 17:10 says, "And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the another is yet to come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space." The 1 is refers to Adolf Hitler's Third Reich.
Germany isn't just militarizing in response to Vladimir Putin. It has planned this for a long time. From the very start of World War II, the Germans have considered the possibility of losing the second round, as they did the first, and they have carefully, methodically planned in such eventuality the third round World War III.
The Bible warns specifically about Germany's deceptiveness. The book of Nahum is directed at the descendants of ancient Assyria, the modern Germans. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. Its victim never departs. The noise of a whip and the noise of rattling wheels, of galloping horses, of clattering chariots, horsemen charged with bright sword and glittering spear. There is a multitude of slain, a great number of bodies, countless corpses. They stumble over the corpses.
Historically, the prophet Nahum was describing the ancient Assyrian capital city of Nineveh, but anyone who has seen documentaries of the German concentration camps of World War II would agree that this description also accurately describes modern Germany.
The weapons industry that enabled Hitler is again rising to win the arms race. Most nations boast about their military developments out of vanity or strategy, but Germany keeps them secret, especially after starting 2 world wars.
No other nation has a history of starting wars like Germany. It fought the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 to 71 and thus became a unified nation. The unified German Empire was involved in 11 more conflicts between 1871 and the start of World War I. But today, Germany is mostly remembered for starting World War II, as all other military endeavors fade in comparison. Bible prophecy says that it will be the same in the end time.
And now is the time for trivial question of the day. Currently, which country is facing trade war with the United States?
And the options are option A, Russia, option B, Germany, and option C, China.
The answer after a short break. Welcome back to Science Lab. The science are happening because Lord Jesus Christ is coming soon. Before the break, I asked you a trivial question of the day. Currently, which country is facing trade war with the United States?
And the options given were option A, Russia, option B, Germany, and option C, China.
The right answer is option C, China. Facing trade war with US, China teams up with Russia. Global tension are bringing the relationship to an unprecedentedly high level.
Russia and China's relationship entered a new era following a June 5-7, 2019 summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. The pair announced that they had entered a new era and upgraded the relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership of coordination. During Xi's 3-day visit to Moscow, that coincided with the 70th anniversary of relations between the two countries. The events of the visit stood starkly against the backdrop of the US-China trade war.
The two leaders have now met nearly 30 times, with this recent meeting bringing the nations closer than ever. During his visit in Russia, Xi said, "We have the confidence and capability to bring our relations to a new era of greater development at a higher level, based on our experience and achievements of the past 70 years.
During the meetings, the two signed a $22 billion worth of manufacturing, energy, technology, and other deals. The two leaders also attended the International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg. Xi was the guest of honor. Approximately 1,000 representatives from China also attended the event.
At the forum, in back-to-back speeches, the leaders of Russia and China cast themselves as the champions of free markets and global trade, an overt show of opposition to what they portrayed as the United States' retreat into protectionism with sanctions and tariffs.
Xi spoke about China's strong support for globalization and open borders to produce a harmonious world, while Putin hinted that trade wars could become real wars. He indicated that the US was pretending to promote free markets, but the reality of this facade has been revealed with the threat of economic competitors. the pair emphasized strong Russia-China ties in the face of worsening ties with the US, a recurring theme throughout the three-day visit.
The two leaders ratified a 10,000-word document after the first round of meetings specifying 16 potential areas for cooperation. Almost half of this document was dedicated to their united approach towards several international crises.
Putin said, "We confirm that Russia's and China's stances on key global issues are similar or coincide. We stated that they had reached a very high and without any exaggeration an unprecedentedly high level."
It pointed out that Russia and China see eye to eye on Iran, Venezuela, Syria, North Korea, and the Arctic. Together, they are committed to full implementation of the Iran nuclear deal and a peaceful settlement to the Syrian crisis. The Chinese president pledged to play a constructive role in returning Venezuela to a normal development, but stressed that this should not be done through foreign interference or sanctions.
In a second joint statement covering the challenges of and response to international security, Xi and Putin directly called out the US 10 times. Both leaders saw this meeting as vital to shoring up the relations in the face of increased US pressure, China over the trade war and Russia over US sanctions.
Shi In-hong, US specialist at Renmin University in Beijing, said China's announcement that its ties with Russia have entered a new era all are set against the background of unprecedented tensions between the US and China and the lasting confrontation between Russia and the US.
There is a major strategic need to strengthen the ties between Russia and China will continue to team up with Russia against the US on international issues.
With Russia's help, China can endure its trade war with the US much longer than it could otherwise. The trade war is definitely having an impact on China, but in several areas, Russia is stepping up to fill the gap. The trade war is driving China from reliance on US customers and towards Russia.
One area that Russia is stepping up to provide for China is agriculture. In 2018, agriculture and food trade between the two rose 30%, while overall trade reached a record $108 billion, nearly 25% higher than the previous year. They aim to increase this to $200 billion by 2020.
Filling the gap left by the US is Russia's largest wheat producer, Cherezkova Group. It started delivering poultry products to China in May and also plans to export pork and soybeans. This comes after China applied relatively tariffs on US pork and chicken in May and also stopped its soybeans imports.
The two sides also plan to increasingly trade in their own currencies to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. Russia has expressed a desire to start selling yuan bonds to deepen economic relations with China. More than 15 Russian companies and banks have expressed interest in buying yuan bonds on the Moscow exchange and on Chinese exchanges.
The two countries are continuing their plans to establish a new system for direct yuan ruble payments. Currently, 14% of trade between the two countries is conducted in yuan and 7 to 8% is conducted in rubles.
Russia's central bank has also been working to replace the US dollar with yuan in its foreign exchange reserves portfolio. In the second quarter of 2018, Russia bought 44 billion in yuan currency and sold about 100 billion.
In mid-2018, Russia's yuan holdings comprised 15% of its international reserves.
Putin emphasized that trading in rubles and yuan was with the goal to develop fail-safe bank servicing of transactions in conditions of instability on global markets.
Arguably, one of the biggest developments to come out of Xi's visit to Russia was the deal signed between China's Huawei and Russia's MTS telecommunications company. Huawei will work with MTS over the next year to build a 5G network in Russia.
MTS said that this deal will bring the development of 5G technologies and the pilot launch of fifth-generation networks in 2019 to 2020.
This deal comes at a pivotal time for Huawei. In May 2019, President Trump banned US companies from selling equipment to Huawei and advised other countries to do the same due to claims that the company is involved in spying for China's ruling Communist Party.
The US ban is due to come into force within 3 months, and many companies have already distanced themselves from Huawei.
Although the US has claimed that Huawei is a security threat, this does not seem to have deterred Russia. Russia's cooperation with Huawei, along with several other nations who have shunned the US ban, is ensuring the company's survival.
With all these developments, the intimacy of China-Russia relations is undeniable. President Putin is the foreign colleague that I have interacted with most extensively, she said. He is my best friend and I greatly treasure our friendship.
The recent summit is a stark reminder of where we are heading in Bible prophecy. Russia and China's treasured friendship is just the beginning of the fulfillment of a specific end-time prophecy. Their close relationship was prophesied and it will only lead to much cooperation.
In Revelation chapter 16-12, God identifies an end-time military alliance called the King of the East. The identity of those nations forming this alliance is recorded in Ezekiel chapter 38, and it will be led by Russia and China, and Russia at the head and China in a secondary leadership position. They will lead a combine of Asian nations, amazing a combined army of 200 million men.
Through this latest round of meetings and their ever-increasing cooperation, Russia and China are preparing to lead this fearful alliance, and their goal, world conquest. Since their opposition during the Cold War, we have seen increasing cooperation between Russia and China. And especially in recent years, this has been led by opposition to America. Sino-Russo relations are reaching an unprecedentedly high level, as the President Putin said.
All this shows that what is mentioned in the Bible that are going to take place in the end time are taking place in our lifetime. We are living in the last days. Lord Jesus Christ is coming again very soon. Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to tune into Science Lab next time.
Send us photos, videos, news and YouTube links which are worth sharing, and also send us your feedbacks to our email address sciencelab@angeltv.org. If you have missed any of these episodes, don't worry. You can watch it again and again in our Science Lab YouTube page. But don't forget to like, share and comment this video.
Ask your friends and relatives to watch Science Lab so that they will get to know we are living in the last days. Remember, signs are happening because Jesus Christ is coming soon. Maranatha.